We are live for another show, a live show this Wednesday, August 13th, midweek, giving you the alpha, filling you in on everything that's happening every single day, Monday through Friday. Myself here with the Capital Mindset Trading Group, our lead analyst, Trip. Just to make sure that you guys are well aware of everything that's happening in these markets, how to dissect it, and understand the news that is going on at the moment, as well as all the charts, the way we see it. No noise, just signal on this channel. So, Chris, thanks for hanging out, man. Welcome. We're doing the show a little bit later today because schedule got a bit hectic, but we're making sure that we're getting this out to you. So everybody tuning in late, make sure to watch the replay, and I will do my best to timestamp these, as now timing is very, very critical, right? We are coming upon the full-on altcoin season, as they say. If you've been following our channel, we've been calling it markup season, right? So altcoin markup season. And yeah, we've just been hanging out. We've been chilling. We've been staying cool. We've been staying calm. And we've been showing you some incredible trades. So if you had entered into many of these trades we've been talking about, even just here on the YouTube, you'd be crushing it with us, right? So the goal is to help you guys out as much as possible, bring in that value as much as possible, and just to hang out and check in where you are mentally. It's important to keep focused, eyes on the prize. We are right there, as the title from today suggests. Altcoin season is here. What's next? Now, we haven't full on confirmed that, right? But we are so close. We are right there. We are knocking on the door. I didn't mean to add Trip's charts already. Got a little excited there, guys. But we are right there knocking on the altcoins door, and everybody wants to know. I feel like the sentiment lately is that even since ETH was just right about to break 4,000, everybody is so afraid of this big crash or correction coming, going to catch us all off guard. Now, as ETH is about to break past this all-time high, when is that massive drop happening? And guys, that doesn't necessarily need to happen. That's what we've been trying to tell you on the channel. Just to stay cool, Trip has revealed some of his maps that he uses for Ethereum and for Bitcoin, with different strategies and different indicators, right? And ways of looking at it to show you how ETH and Bitcoin could be following that map. And so far, it's played out scarily accurate. So yeah, so we've had insights in this channel that I haven't seen in a lot of places. And if you know, you know. If you've been tuning in, you know what I'm talking about. So I just want to do a shout out to our regulars here. Chris, thanks so much, man, for showing up. Megan Moss, you know what? You're crushing it because you are 100% consistent. And from what I understand, you're on vacation and you're still tuning in and you're crushing it in the group. So Megan, shout out to you. Garrett, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Are you new to the chat? I don't know if I've seen you before. Richard, what's up? Real Ice Bear Skull, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while, I feel. We've been missing you here. Mr. J23 and Dan, you are not calm and cool. It's true. I'm bringing in the energy. So one thing is to have a lot of energy and to be positive and to be excited. Another thing is to be emotional about the markets, right? And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to give you the uplifting energy that's needed when you're going hard, long hours, and you're just staring at charts for a lot of the day. But that doesn't mean that we're going to make irrational decisions, right? So Theta Investor, what's up? Just picked up CEP and BMNR. We've been talking about BMNR a lot on the channel, a lot. Trip and I bought it, and a lot of people in the group. I think I caught it around $41, somewhere in there. So yeah, BMNR, we believe, is going to do phenomenally well. The chart in the group for that one is astounding, by the way. Really cool. Big double bottom forming there. Megan, back at work. Okay. So you're tuning in from work. I like it. New here, not too crypto. Okay, well, welcome to the channel. I can almost guarantee you're going to like what you're going to see because we keep it real and we give you all of the details in the charts, not opinions. So I think you're going to like this one, Garrett. Thanks so much for tuning in. Guys, we're off to a good start this Wednesday. Bitcoin is starting to break out. Ethereum is just below all-time highs, and we're going to let you know exactly what's happening in the charts. A little bit of news: retail is entering this market because these keywords here in Google are starting to tick up. So there's so many indicators we look at, but some of them are so simple as how to buy crypto and altcoins, the top two terms in the crypto world that are ticking up recently. We are finally starting to see retail enter the market at these levels, but not like anywhere near where they will be, right? So we're still early. You're definitely early. You've been tuning into this channel, and that's one of the interesting indicators that's happening. Now, when I say stay cool, calm, and collected, this did happen today, so maybe we should just all, call it a day and crawl in a cave for the day, because Jim Cramer says that the bull can't be stopped today. So we all know what that means. No, but seriously, guys, there is no need to panic, as the charts are telling us right now, and we've been going over that time and time again. So yeah. I have another big piece of news, which I want us to just kind of take in, is that the total ETH inflows topped $1 billion. So this is from yesterday, but that is massive. There is huge institutional interest in this asset that they can now get yield on and exposure to the underlying asset. And DeFi is entering the markets in not only a way that's available to retail with infrastructure around it and regulations, right, starting to form, but also institutional. And liquid staking has not been classified in automatic security. There are a lot of things falling into place, all those ducks coming in a row that will make it much easier for us to interact in the crypto world. And that gives investors a lot of confidence, right? And so all of these factors are starting to trickle in and come into place on the macro scale. What is it, 80 to 90? I think it's up above 90% now that the Fed will lower the rates in September. And guys, we're just right here for the action, grabbing the popcorn, sitting back, getting position, right? And just keeping our eye on what's happening in these markets. But the macro sphere could not be more bullish right now as we speak. Okay. And another piece of news, Treasury Secretary Bessent says he is pushing for a ban on single stock trading in Congress. The American people deserve better than politicians like Nancy Pelosi with hedge fund level returns. And yeah, we've been in a system that's been broken for a really long time, and nobody has done anything about it, right? It's just been way too long that the dollar has just not been backed by anything, can be printed out of thin air, a lot of shenanigans happening in the government. And just like we put a lot of faith and been told as a society to trust the government to take care of us. This whole notion of, custodying our own funds and interacting freely and having the free transfer of value, which is what this movement is all about, is completely outside of everything that we've been taught within this old framework, right? And that old framework is starting to crumble little by little, especially with the president that we have now that is just gunning for all of these people, saying that he wants to sue Jerome Powell, right? Head of the Fed. All of these changes, man, the macro atmosphere couldn't be more bullish. And that is why it's really important not to fumble it now, not to fumble it right when we're knocking on the door, right? So good day, Media Mott. Luyanda from South Africa. Ooh, welcome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, let me know what guys are tuning in for. We love to check in with our international audience here. So yeah, I'm just going to set the tone with that for the day. I feel like people are on edge because they're waiting for some sort of crash, and they're waiting for something to catch them off guard. There's a lot of noise. We also talk about this a lot on the channel. Actually, President Trump just came out and said that there will be severe consequences, okay, if Putin, this was his quote, there will be very severe consequences for Russia if Putin doesn't agree to stop Ukraine war after Friday. A lot of noise happening on the macrosphere. Tariffs on gold, taking away the tariffs on gold. If you try to follow all this and use that for investing kind of like advice, you're going to go crazy, because that is just way too much noise. So focus on the signal. And in order to do so, we're going to dissect the charts now with our lead analyst from the Capital Mindset. Before we do so, I need to remind you that actually we're having a flash sale for today, which is 20% off all of our groups. Okay. And that's leverage, spot and leverage combo, and the gold plan, all the groups, 20% off today. We want to give you guys an extra bit of value as we're coming into the most important part of the cycle. So take advantage. The link is in the description below. We'd love to have you as a new member. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and bring up your charts, Trip. But Trip, how you doing today? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm just ready to just see what's happening. I'm ready for the updates of the charts. BP Kolar in the house. What's up? Just excited to check in on everything we've been going over, because it seems like every single day when we check in again that something has happened, and that, the news that we delivered the day before, you guys could have taken advantage of that. You can start getting positioned. Like, this is all about taking action now, and right, like putting these tools in your toolbox to get ready for this next massive move. So Trip, what are you seeing in the charts?
Okay, so we're going to start with Bitcoin dominance again, and this has been following our plan since this bear flag has broken to the downside here. So we were looking for that break below the 1 week 50 EMA at the same time after we got the break below the flag, and then we got this bearish retest that we were also looking for. So everything seems to be playing out so far. The only thing that I'm a little concerned about now is that there is some bullish divergence showing up on the bottom of this move down here. So to the 0.618 at around 59% is now acting as support, and you can see that we do have oversold conditions with some bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin dominance. So this could be a short-term move. It could be the bounce that's already happening here. It's kind of hard to distinguish how much of a move we're going to get out of this at this point, but definitely could lead to a slight pause on altcoins. We don't want to see this come back up and reclaim this trend line or go back above the 1 week 50 MA, at least in the short term. That's a goal that we don't want to have happen. So we have to focus on this, at least for the short term. I wouldn't be entering altcoins necessarily right now. I'd be waiting for that confirmation of it continuing lower, like if it broke below the 0.618. Over here on the weekly chart, we are moving below this long-term trend line. So the big picture is quite bearish right now for Bitcoin dominance. So this 4-hour chart over here is just the short term that we're looking at. Just have to stay below that 50-week SMA, and we want to see a weekly close, hopefully at the end of this week, below that yellow trend line. The death cross of the 50 MA and the 200 MA is also coming into the picture in this area. That's when the red line, which is the 50, it's a lower moving average, crosses down below a higher moving average. This is the 200 down here. So usually the move from a death cross is played out. The most of the move starts playing out before the actual cross. So we're hoping that this is some continuation to the downside here, and then we get that golden cross playing out, and that would just equate to really good altcoin trading, at least for the foreseeable future.
Okay, so it's time to have a little bit of patience here to see what happens during this bounce. Let's see if we can get some added confirmation, right, on that break below the 50-week moving average. So let's keep an eye on that, guys, for altcoins. Potentially not any new trades right at this moment until you can see where this settles. But DIY car hunters, what's up from California? Welcome. I haven't seen you before either. Graham, you made it. I'm so happy to see you here. Good vibes all the way from New Zealand. That's awesome. Did genius yield rug, says the architect. I don't think so. I think like as we're getting all of this legislation in place and as things are starting to take shape, it's normal that we're going to have some bumps in the road. We're going to have some ups and some downs. But I mean, I just keep saying this also with rate cuts. The dot-com boom happened when the rate cuts were very, very high, right? It wasn't dependent on even the external macroeconomic factors. The fact of the matter is that we were going into an era with new technology that was changing the way things were happening in the world. And it was far less potent than what we have now, which is AI, robotics, crypto, all of those things together, plus like other things that are in the mix, right? New technologies. I just think that, this is just growth pains and that we will continue forward, especially with the current administration, and things will get really, really good. So yeah. Ian, need to jump, Megan and Trip, but wishing everyone a good, calm, cool, and collected day. I like it. And Dan, we can be happy and excited and really just all about it with positive vibes, still be cool, calm, and collected, right? So yeah, I like it, Ian. Thank you for stopping by, and do watch this replay because we're about to get into the heart of the matter right now.
Right, so we're going to look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, and since the breakout of this channel, we actually had this test of support down here first on the bigger picture. So this was the first move that actually started this uptrend here. Then we watched for this break of this falling wedge or this descending channel, and now we're approaching this key resistance around 123K, which is the all-time high currently for Bitcoin. So we need to see a break above that level. Otherwise, we could see some consolidation in this area. We don't want to see this roll over and come down below this 200 MA. I think this is the 4-hour 200 MA. So that's acting as local support for now. And that's pretty much going to be our line in the sand, essentially, to see if Bitcoin remains this as bullish as it's looking at the moment. But the next feat that it has to accomplish is to break above this key resistance. We also have the 1.272. This is from a much bigger fib if I zoom out here. So it's actually measuring the top of this move down to the bottom, and these are the extensions to the upside. So we do have some bigger targets in play if we break above this key resistance level over here, and that would be at around the 1.618 at 135,000. If this key resistance breaks, that's probably what we're looking for next.
So we got to hold above the 200, the 4-hour 200 MA. What price is that around right now for people who don't have the indicator up or can't see it on the screen?
About 117.5.
Okay, so there's a general level that we need to hold, right, in order to continue the current bullishness and not see a little bit lower levels. So let's just pay attention to what Bitcoin does here, what Bitcoin dominance does, and yeah, we're doing all right. Alex, T fuel, please. Oh, we got another Theta guy in the house. Okay. So we're going over. I forgot to tell you guys. We'll be going over altcoins today. Will be XRP and Algorand. By request. We also have some requests from our members that we'll be going over first. And if we have time, we'll take extra requests at the end. So stay tuned and let us know now what you want to see so we have time to plan.
Yeah. Right. The next one we're going to cover too, this is just an older chart actually of Bitcoin versus the gold one-day chart. Now, this is from the 1970s for this chunk of the price action for the gold chart. We were actually focused on this idea way back in January 31st in 2023. So it had the very similar structure, right? They had the strong move up. You had a double top that rolled into the bear market. And then after it broke above the one-day 200 MA over here on the gold chart, we were expecting the same kind of move to the upside as gold had done, right? So this is a very clear portrayal of what we were expecting after this break above that 200. Now we're going to fast forward a bit. This is just from, I think yesterday I posted this in group. So now I actually had to shrink the chart a bit so you can get the whole thing in view, but you can see clearly how much of a how much it's been following gold on the 1 week chart. I mean, it's almost step for step. It's that same aggressive parabolic movement. And if I was to zoom out here, this is probably a lot higher. I think that went up to don't quote me on the price. Think like almost 2,000 or so on this run for gold. So then same thing for Bitcoin. We're expecting that we're only about, maybe half of the way, maybe a third of the way. I still expect it to follow. I don't see any changes as far as this goes, but either way, it's been a fantastic comparison. That's really exciting to see how it's compared, or I think about 2.7 years since we first made that original chart back here.
Right. And this is one of the many things that Tripp excels at is going back and finding these correlations, right? And these patterns and the fractals and just kind of like matching them up to make sense of them, right? And to put those pieces of the puzzle together. So this chart was from a year and 7 months ago, right? And look how closely it's been following. I mean, it's astounding, right? So those sort of similarities and different correlations are really interesting to put together as part of your analysis, right? To see where it could go. I mean, none other than gold, which is now like the digital version of it. So I think these are really interesting charts to get perspective on what's coming.
Right. It's we're comparing two stores of value, one from the old analog version, I guess, compared to the digital version for Bitcoin. So either way, you're just comparing different stores of value over time. So it's not really too surprising that they would follow each other in such a fashion.
Right. Yeah. Good morning, Andrew. Welcome to the show. So bullish. IPO looks like a pump and dump. Okay. Maybe if we have time, we'll put up IPO at the end and check that out. But yeah, let's get into this. Is also something I'm really excited about. Tripp has been sharing bits of his Ethereum map that have just telegraphed this exact move. Okay, it's just mirror images. We don't really discuss how we get to that here on YouTube, but that is detailed in the group, and the group has access to all that. So he's been sharing that map, and it's been playing out very, very, very similar to the map. So it has told us, when everybody else has been very fearful, that actually it might not be time for Ethereum to make a big correction now, that we could just continue to go up on our bullish patterns. So that map had been very, very helpful during this uptrend for ETH. And also I tried to pick out the video where I think it was like right around $2,000 and all the people were dumping ETH because Sol was going to be the outperformer and stuff. And I was just thinking, why is this happening? Like, sometimes you got to be a little bit more patient and play so many steps ahead, right? And not just go with what's happening in the moment. If you're a trader, maybe it's the thing to do, but long-term investors were doing it. They were dumping their ETH because it just wasn't going anywhere. And it's like, it's the most trusted layer for financial transactions in this entire space. Like, why would people dump it? I don't know. So what I'm saying is we've been very consistent on just watching ETH play out and holding ETH. And I've been saying that ETH is bullish all year. I mean, they made an ETF about it. It's got yield. I just see the writing on the wall, right? The stable coins, the amount of stable coins that pass through the Ethereum network is just, it's an astounding amount. So yeah, it's no surprise to me that ETH is doing well right now.
Right. So ETH is, it's been performing very well, at least since the breakout as well here too. So if this is where you got in, you've had barely any issues with the entry. It's just been going up steadily since. But I just wanted to make a note today that we are approaching this fib extension resistance at the 1.272 fib level, and that's pretty close to the all-time high for Ethereum. It's about 48.30 altogether. So I think there's a chance we do see maybe a mild pullback here, but I really don't think it's going to stop and correct or have a long-term pullback. I think it might just be maybe a bull flag or another continuation pattern of some kind, but it could be a place where we see a pause, at least in the short term. So as we talked about with Bitcoin dominance doing what it's doing over here, if this bullish divergence was to play out, then I would expect ETH to have this pullback at resistance just the same. There's always that inverse correlation with Bitcoin and dominance, or Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum. So if you see something bullish on dominance, you should almost expect something bearish to happen on Ethereum just the same.
Right. Yeah. So do keep that in mind when you're planning your entries and, looking to get positioned.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to make a big difference. If you're timing your entries by looking at dominance more often and multiple time frames, then you'll know that it's a lot safer to enter into an altcoin when dominance is going down and Bitcoin's going up. That's the best case scenario. So you could try to make other trades when it's not in sync like that, but it's going to be tougher. You might get stopped out more. It's just a riskier atmosphere. So I prefer to trade when the market is in my favor, and I prefer to have more wins than losses and as many as possible over my losses, obviously. So I choose to trade when I see those certain signals compared to what dominance is doing as a very important factor.
Right. So you ride with the stream. You don't go upstream. You go with the flow, right? Like it is what Trip's saying is really, you can get really frustrated in the chop and getting stopped out because you're trading against what dominance is doing. If you want those excellent trades, those are conditions to look for, right? And more wins versus losses. Absolutely. And this is something that is 100% going to help you become a better trader. No doubt.
Right. So just back on the Bitcoin dominance chart, the reason why I started getting really aggressive with my trades lately was because of this point of control resistance that we'd lost. It was basically a bear or a bull trap above that level. And you had weekly bearish divergence in overbought conditions. So that's a pretty big signal. That's when I decided that it was time to go a little heavier on my altcoin trades. So now I'm just enjoying the profits and mostly just moving my stops up along the way for most of my midterm holds. But otherwise, yeah, just need to see a couple more things on dominance as far as the break lower, and then again I would probably start adding to those positions or looking for pullback entries as long as this is staying below that yellow line. But until then, I won't be too aggressive, rather just take it safe until I see that confirmation break below this trend line here.
Right. Yeah. No need to jump into trades. Like I just really like that idea of waiting for those excellent trades to come to you. Let this cool down. Let's see where we land, right, as far as dominance in Bitcoin. And let's have a look at what our entries may be on these coins. So we're going to go over some ISO 20022 coins, which are XRP and Algorand, which have some really good setups, guys. So do pay attention because when they break out, they run hard, right?
Right. So yeah, this is just an update to our XRP chart. Before we had actually talked about the breakout of this trend line here, or this falling wedge, if you wanted to draw the whole thing in. So in the group, we had actually got in somewhere down here, and then again on the retest, I think we had a post for that as well. Now we're looking at this inverse head and shoulders at resistance. So it's lining up very well with this 1.0 level that we had drawn before for our previous fibs. When we had drawn this a while ago. It's going to take a second for this to load, but it's basically just from this high over here down to this bottom for this fib pull, because these are the two major swings that I'm using for these extensions. And I'm basically just calling this move over here just a bit of a trap, I guess. But really, it's just this level that we're focused on is all that really matters. We want to see a break above $3.40 for XRP, and then we're looking for that move up to the 1.272 extension that we talked about at about $3.88, and then the 1.618 is still waiting up there at about $4.50. So it's going to take time, but we're moving in the right direction, right? So over here, you see that we made a low, and then we made a high, then a lower low, and this was a higher high than this previous high. And now we're hoping that this is a higher low than this previous low, and this trend just starts to continue to the upside.
Right. And those are the things you look for when you're trying to decide when to get in, where your entry can be. In this case, Triple's label it really clearly. They're at $3.40 breakout entry. So set your alerts and don't sleep on XRP, guys.
Right. So next one we're looking at is Algo. I don't think we have talked about this one on the channel yet, but it is part of that ISO 20022 narrative, along with XLM and HBAR. There's a bunch of them actually. So Algo is also on that list, and it's a very clean trend line and a clean resistance level here that we're looking at right now. This resistance that we're looking at is actually going back as far as March in 2024, where we had this first peak, and then it flipped it into support momentarily, and now we're back ready to test it at resistance again. And hopefully we're going to get a breakthrough this time. So the breakout entry for Algo is around 32 cents. And then the same thing, we're using these fib extensions for targets to the upside. The 1.0 is just the top of the range here where these candle body closes are. That's at about 51 cents. The 1.272 is at about 60 cents. 1.618 is about 73 cents. And then the 2.0 would pretty much be the measured move of this structure from this high down to this bottom. That would be around 87 cents for Algo. So you're waiting for that breakout of the trend line. You can probably start scaling in there. So you'd open a bit of your position if you see a volume confirmed break above this trend line. Maybe if you want to add again on the retest, if you get a confirmed retest. But I would really be waiting to add the most of my position once we've broken above this key resistance level at that 32-cent mark.
Right. So how important is volume when breaking out, Trip? Like, what are the things that you look for when you're trying to get positioned in an entry like this?
Well, volume just means that a lot of traders agree with what you're looking at. So if there's fib traders, resistance traders, pattern traders, you want to find something that's going to satisfy everybody. So you're going to see a lot of volume come in when you have trend lines breaking and horizontal resistances breaking in that same area. So it just adds a lot of confluence, and that's really all you're looking for. It's that magic word, confluence. Volume is going to come in when most of the market agrees with your idea.
Right. And then that's when you know, okay, this is a real breakout versus potentially a fake out if that volume's not there. Or maybe that's why also scaling in is a good strategy when, you know, you're getting into your entries at this point.
Right, yeah. The next one we're going to take a look at, this was one of the requests from group, was an ADA update. So we had this bull flag printed and the breakout entry that we had posted in the group. Now we're aiming towards this breakout entry up here at this red resistance level at about 91 cents for ADA. And then we're looking at about 99 cents, pretty much $1 would be the next target up. And then $1.13 and $1.29, $1.30 or so for our third target. So right now, ADA's been doing pretty well. You're just still waiting for that confirmation break. Maybe if you get a pullback down to this support, that could also be a nice retest entry. We just need to see what's going to happen there as far as dominance goes when you're considering this pullback, right? You want to see what dominance looks like. Make sure it's not pushing above the 50 MA on the weekly while you're looking for a retest. So some ideas would cancel each other out. If one thing happens, you wouldn't take an entry essentially, right? So you're looking for that inverse correlation again. Same thing we do with Ethereum.
Right. Yeah. So all those factors are really necessary when adding everything up. Almaneem, you're not that late. You're okay. You're good. You can just watch the replay. We went over some good stuff today, including gold versus Bitcoin. And Luyanda says, how much of an impact will a reverse carrier trader have on crypto? Not sure what he's referring to there. You know what that is, Trip? If you can elaborate on that, maybe. And then we have another request for G Soul. Okay, Traveler 88. If we have time here at the end of the stream, we will pull that up. Yeah, we like to do live charting as well with you guys, just to also show you the thought process that goes into what Trip looks at when he's going to go get positioned for a trade or wonder if this is a good entry or what to look for, right? So that is also very valuable information to teach you how to do those things. So yeah, let's go ahead and have a look at the next request from our trading group, which is Turbo.
Turbo, yeah, this was a setup we posted, I think, at the beginning of the week, or last week, I should say. And what we were looking for was this bounce on this lower trend line of this ascending triangle. So this little green box, just let me brighten that up for you. This was going to be our scaled in entry. So the first bounce on the 200 MA, that's where you probably would have caught your first entry for this trade. And then as it started to find support on this yellow trend line, you had a bunch of candles on the daily. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles essentially testing this support level. You had plenty of time to scale into this trade on that support, and the stop loss for your risk management was actually very manageable too. If you were to break below that 200 MA on the daily, you would just take that stop out trade and just exit the trade and look for something else essentially. But as far as risk to reward goes, you'd be risking about 8% to get stopped out, with a potential 223% move coming for Turbo at the top of the range. So this is a very bullish pattern. Ascending triangles typically break to the upside. We have some resistances along the way. The one that we're focused on mostly is around this area where we see this bank of orders here where it bounced. So it's more about 0.0071, probably closer with a range if you go down to about 0.0064. So it's a pretty decent range in this area. Essentially, when you look for the breakout, you could hit that resistance first, and then it's going to test it again to test the pattern. So maybe you can start scaling in for that idea, but you're really looking for that break above this bank of resistance over here as the strongest confirmation. If you do get this, if you get more price action inside of this pattern, you can accumulate as you get more touches. Maybe it comes back down to touch again, and then you get another bounce. We don't really know how long this is going to take. So if you assume that it's going to stay in the pattern, you could be scaling in all the way a little bit at a time before the breakout.
I like that. I like that scaling in idea on the support levels on the bottom trend line there. That often leads to much better entry than, I mean, just that small portion that you get in the bottom below the breakout is gives you exponentially more gains, right? In a lot of cases. So, or it adds to your percentage win there. So, yeah. So got another request if we have time. VeChain, VET. Okay. Good to know, Mr. J23. This is our last request for today from members in the group, which is super. And
Right, so
one thing to note about Turbo, the good thing about Turbo is it is the ETH coin of Ethereum, right? Sorry, the meme coin of Ethereum. So like one of the main memes there. So it's got like a lot of that lore behind it as well. I think that's a really interesting one to pay attention to, that close to the ascending trend line. So yeah, take it away, Trip.
No worries. So this is super again that we are updating. Previously in our other videos, we had talked about a cup and handle forming and how it rolled over, and now we're looking for a triangle to form. So very similar actually to what Turbo was doing essentially. Now you've gotten that bounce off of that 200 MA. I think this is the 1 day or the 2 day. This is the 1 day 200 MA here. So still a critical level to hold. But at this point now, you're looking for a break above this resistance. I told members in the group, just set an alert. It's a 2-day chart. It's a high time frame. So if you don't want to miss this move, setting alerts is probably going to be the best bet for you. Excuse me. One of the things you want to do though is if you're going to set an alert on a high time frame, you might want an earlier notice on this move. So I might go down to the 4-hour chart and then set my alert based on the 4-hour movement. So if a 4-hour candle breaks and closes, just to show you what the options here are, you can do crossing up, and then you would do once per bar close. So that just means that once the 4-hour candle is broken above this level and closed above it, then you'll get that alert. So using the 4-hour chart, you're going to get a much earlier alert compared to waiting for a 2-day candle to close. So definitely one to pay attention to is super. It tends to run pretty hard when it gets going. I think we have a pretty decent move up to the top of the range here just to measure it out really quick. We'll pull out the price range tool. So from the breakout level, you're still looking at about 138% move. So again, it could be very quick. We could have something like this happen, or it could go more parabolic, but there's not a whole lot of resistance over here. It's mostly just a straight downtrend with not many stops along the way with big bounces or big breaks. It's pretty steady. So I would expect there could be a fairly fast move for super when it starts to move.
Right. And it's also founded by Elio Trades, a big YouTuber. So a lot of audience. And yeah, that just adds to the element when it starts to run. There's a lot of people looking at it. Right. So that's a good thing to know as well. So keep your eyes on super. Don't want to miss that breakout.
Right. We can go into some of the requests. Someone asked for T Fuel.
Yeah. Another Theta Gang member in here.
Okay, I can pull up T-Fuel really quick. I had a chart on it. It would just be faster to whip it up here. So yeah, not a lot has changed for T-Fuel. If you've been watching our channel, we were just watching for this break above resistance here. So this is still the 2-day chart. You can flip it back to the 1 day. It doesn't really matter too much. But either way, this level is still the same. It's about 0.042 for the breakout level for T-Fuel. And then same thing, not much has changed at all. The targets are still going to be about the same. We're looking for a move to the top of the range at about 9 cents. So for T Fuel, you get a decent move out of that. It's still about 124% for the next move that's coming, or at least on this swing to the upside. So yeah, like I said, setting alerts, just like on Super, it's probably going to be your best bet for T Fuel if you're not in the trade yet and you're just looking for a breakout entry.
Right. So around 4 cents is where you want to be paying attention to T Fuel for fireworks, potentially. Theta Gang, like, man, they're looking good. And we've been saying over and over on the channel that Theta and T Fuel are still like they have been in great accumulation range compared to other coins that have already run a little bit more. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, G Soul, that must be a microcap or it's a Dex coin.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't cover those. I'm sorry, brother.
Mm.
Yeah, if it's on TradingView, no problem, but I'm not going to go digging around on Dexes trying to find something. Sorry.
Traveler 88 is in the trenches. Let us know how it's going there, man. We do have another request here by Mr. J23 for VeChain.
Okay, that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost identical to T Fuel. It hasn't really moved off of the support yet, so there's even potential to keep accumulating while it's on these bottom swings. Let's see if I can draw. I might go down to the 12-hour chart just to get a little more data here. So okay, the 12 hour is actually lining up really nicely with this 200 MA. Is that that's the 1 day 200 MA? Okay. So you could probably just set an alert on that level or wait for a break above the 200. It looks like we do have a decent looking trend line here as well. So there's a couple of ideas. You could call this maybe a triple bottom. I'd be hard pressed to call it a triangle. You potentially have one here, just kind of doesn't fit the whole size of the pattern, but either way, it's pretty much just a trend line on the bottom, trend line on the top. So yeah, you could be looking for that break above that 200 MA. Right now, we're just getting a rejection off that level. It seems like it also could have potential to range inside of this pattern. So that would be, again, based off of what Bitcoin dominance is doing with this bullish divergence. It's going to affect most altcoins, right? Most of the large caps for sure. So I think VET would definitely fall into that category. You might have a chance to accumulate inside of the pattern. But again, it's just that break at the trend line, the 200 MA, and then we'll look at some targets up here. I'm actually going to clean all this, and I'm going to move to a higher time frame to get a better view here. Oh, right. Yeah, there's a long accumulation back here. So this whole bank is basically your support area. Like there's a lot of it. Right.
Wow.
So it goes back as far as 2022. It's just been hugging the floor for a long time. If we were to measure the move, I guess you could call this a double bottom. So we'll start from there, and we're going to pull from this top down to this bottom, and we're just going to take a measurement based off of this double bottom idea. We're going to put our horizontal line on the top. So you're looking at a neckline for that double bottom around 7 cents. And then the measured move would be at the 2.0 at about 13 cents. So from where you are now, if you were to enter on that break of that 200 MA, you'd be looking for, yeah, it's a very good move, about 415% up to 2.0. And that's not even at the all-time highs. So you're getting a very good chunk of that move already without it really going anywhere yet.
Yeah.
I could show a very extreme picture here for VET, but a lot it's gonna have to play out for this to work out. Yeah, so we've done this on a few other altcoins where if you consider that these whole structures from season to season are now forming one pattern where it's just a gigantic double bottom, then you're going to start getting those ridiculous numbers that we've been hoping for in crypto. That everyone's been waiting for. So again, if you get that break above the 200 MA, the measured move of that larger double bottom is about a 17 to 1800% move, up to about 50 cents for VET. So that could be your bull run target essentially for VeChain this round.
Wow, that's pretty wild. You know, we've been doing these on a few other coins, including like XRP, Cardano, and yeah, you get some pretty high numbers because you're looking at it from a different perspective, and it's really interesting to keep in mind as you have your short-term targets, your midterm, and potential long-term targets. So you found one that's on the floor, Mr. J23. I like it. I'm liking this a lot. It's still potentially an accumulation zone, and kind of like a rubber band when you've stretched it super far for a super long time, and then boom, it shoots up. That's how I kind of see this one. It's looking like it's looking good. I like it.
Yeah, if you can actually pull up that altcoin Google Trends picture
Mm-hmm.
again and just compare it to VeChain. So the how to buy crypto chart.
Yeah, it's not this one that you're referring to.
No, it's that one. So how to buy crypto is the Google
Mm-hmm.
search on the bottom of that picture.
Right.
So if you just look at the structure there with that blue line and then compare it to VeChain, I mean, I can see it already. It's almost identical. Let me see if I can pull it up on my screen here. I'll try to find it
Wow.
and I'll
See,
be
Trip
right
is
back.
great at finding these sort of points of confluence between things that seemingly aren't interconnected, but it is. It's really cool. And that's why the things that we see here and that we show here on the channel are special, because it's a different kind of analysis that you don't see everywhere else. And it's cool to get this different perspective on things. So I think that this is really valuable mindset to have when you're sort of looking to map it out, your grand map, your strategy, your where is this going? What am I looking for? This is like going to kind of guide you a little bit better. And I think Trip has pulled it up here on the screen. Let's check it out.
Right. So the two peaks over here at the top, you have this peak as the
Wow.
high. That would be this
He
peak
picked
over
this
here.
out in his mind as he was talking about it, you guys. How crazy is this? Just let me know if you like this and smash a like if you're enjoying this kind of analysis, because that is pretty astoundingly similar.
Right. Yeah. So just comparing the swings, right? These two peaks are the same as these two peaks. This bottom and that peak is that same bottom, and the peak, the rounded bottom, looks identical to this. And it's not really a big surprise that this is the Google search trends for how to buy crypto. It should have somewhat of a correlation because it's very FOMO driven. So when
Right.
the markets start taking off, it's going to replicate what these Google trends are going to look like.
Right. So how are we looking on this interest over time? Are we bullish, Trip? Is that a bullish pattern there for how to buy crypto?
Well, if I'm assuming that it's going to do the same thing as VeChain, then I would agree. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really cool analysis. Traveler88 says G Sol is a grayscale Sol ETF. So
Okay.
yeah,
So that would be a stock that I'm looking at, or an ETF.
yeah.
Okay. Um, I'll see what comes up. So Grayscale Solana Trust. This one. Okay.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, I actually just I did a chart on Solana. It looks like a big rising channel, like a break to the upside. So, as far as the crypto version of the Sol chart, it looks pretty bullish, just the same. We might have a similar pattern forming here. Maybe it's not the cleanest rising channel, rising wedge, I should say. But this is what I'd be focused on, at least for now. More of a broadening wedge. I'm not really a huge fan of these patterns, but it's a thing, right? So really, I would just ignore that for now and probably just put
Mhm.
this resistance at the top, and then you're just looking for a breakout entry of that level. So potentially you could call this a cup and handle. It's not a perfect rounded bottom, mind you, but again, the names for these patterns are they're just to name it something. They rarely ever look exactly like what the charts look like compared to the picture examples. So you have to be kind of loose with that terminology, but still, potentially, this is a cup and handle with a nice handle that's forming. If you get a break above that resistance, we're probably going to aim for about up here. We'll see if that measured move works out for this idea. This should go right to the 2.0 to the top if it's right. So pretty close. We're aiming for about $30 or so for the measured move of this range or this cup and handle pattern. You just measure from the top down to the bottom, and then you double it. So that 2.0 level is becoming your measured move for that pattern on GSOL. So
Right.
from where it is now, yeah, it looks almost like you're doubling, a little less than doubling your position.
Not bad. Do you own G Sol Traveler 88? Like, do you guys buy ETFs? I'm just curious if you diversify a bit. Like, what do you guys get into that at all? I'd be interested to know that. And we're late tonight. Yes, we are, Brian. We are. We're a little bit late, but we're coming at you just the same, because we're not going to let one day go by, Monday through Friday, if it's in our hands, to be able to get this update to you. So welcome, Brian. I mean, you're coming in at the end, but you must tune in to the whole show, because there's a lot of alpha happening here, including, I'm going to remind you guys one more time, we're doing a flash sale today on our trading group for 20% off all the groups. So that's spot, leverage, combos, and gold, 20% off today. Link is in the description. So use the code that's in the description to get that percent off. And yeah, just join the team, man. Just join the team. We're riding this wave together, and it's been phenomenal so far. So he was modding. I'm not sure what you're saying that you're doing, Brian. But we're happy to have you on the show nonetheless. Trip, now that we're on stocks, maybe we should go over, somebody mentioned they bought BMNR, Theta Investor. Should we have a look at that and see what's happening there?
Yeah, I can pull it up to see how it looks. So yeah, like the idea that we had in the trading group was buying the pullback to the 2-week 200 MA, or sorry, the 1-week 200 MA. So yeah, we were looking for this retest. It didn't quite come down all the way. So I think we actually talked about this in our recent video, if I'm not mistaken. But we mentioned that there was a bullish divergence on the RSI, and this is actually where I entered into the trade during this pullback. So I was looking for this move here. And if you compare it to the RSI, I got to fix this a bit. This was my entry, is when I saw that bullish divergence. So it was around $33 or so in this area. But right now it does look like it's got a bit of a structure, maybe a top forming locally. It's hard to say what this really is yet. I mean, it could be a bunch of things still. I could draw a bunch of stuff around it. Maybe it's still a descending triangle. It's not a lot of formation quite yet. So it's just one idea you could pay attention to. We're assuming that Bitcoin immersion is just going to follow Ethereum. So
Right.
our bullish idea for Ethereum anyways is that it's going to continue higher at a very intense rate. So I really see no reason why BMR should stop unless they start diluting their stocks like they just had recently. But that was just to fund more ETH. So essentially they're fueling their own fire. Is it really a bearish idea that they're adding stocks when it's to push the stock higher anyways?
Right.
So, I mean,
the micro strategy Ethereum, strategy for Ethereum, right? Essentially is what they're doing here. Tom Lee.
Yeah, exactly. So as it looks from there, if we were to get this triangle, the most I would be expecting really just as our next major target is at least up to the top of the range here. Probably go with the first touch in the middle, or the middle touch, I should say. It's got the most amount of rejections in that area. So that's about $126, almost a 2x from here if it were to break out of this pattern, if this is what the pattern is.
Not bad. 2x for a stock if it plays out. That is not bad at all. Brian, you own some stocks. I'd like to know what you guys own as far as stocks. You know, we're super crypto people on this channel, so it's fun to hear when people have different sort of investments. We will be incorporating that into our show. We've got another co-founder who is into real estate and making yield off rental properties, and he's a very savvy investor. So we will do some shows on that as well. We like to go over some stocks here, mainly crypto stocks. There are some other stocks. We have a stocks channel in the trading group as well. So that's just an update on that. And I think it's been a really fun show today. We were a little bit late, so we're sorry about that. But actually, it seems that there are more people tuning in at this hour. So I don't know. Is this a better hour for you guys? We're just trying to experiment and see what's up. So Brian says he owns Hood, Circle, Coin, Apple, Google. That's a great combination of crypto, blue chip. Yeah, I like that. I like that portfolio a lot. Very good. So guys, I think we're going to call it a wrap here. And we've had a phenomenal show so far today. Do go ahead and check out the link in the description. If you're thinking about joining, get on the fence, just take the leap of faith, believe in yourself, and hone in on your skills. That's what I'm going to leave you with today. Trip, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just keep in mind too that when you join the group, first thing you want to do is watch the videos, get up to date on how we do things. If you're not a trader, you're going to have a bit of a learning curve, right? But the goal is that the group will pay for itself if you put the effort in. So every month or every time it's time to renew, you should have made enough in the group to cover that. So that's the goal. It just pays for itself, and it's self-fulfilling over and over.
Right. Yeah. No. And I mean, my God, we've just been riding the wave lately, and we're teaching you how to do it, right? We're not just giving you the setups. Well, that's one of the things that I say, that one of the hardest parts is filtering through and finding the absolute best setups ready to go, right? Which is what our analysts already do, but also teaching you how to look at it and how to get the best entry and how to do all of this, because it is a skill set, and we're teaching you how to learn that new skill set, and it's a phenomenal ride. So yeah, Traveler 88, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate all of you, and we will be coming to you again tomorrow for another action-packed show, probably around our normal time at 9:30 a.m. PST. We'll keep you posted. We'll try to give you ample warning. But yeah, you don't want to miss out. We're going to do more live charting, and we're going to dig a little bit deeper into what's happening. So Brian says Tether and Circle making their own blockchains for stables. The stable coins are a huge, huge topic right now. We could do a whole show on just that, actually. Maybe I'll do more info on stable coins tomorrow. I did go on Mario Nafal's show yesterday, and we talked stable coins and RWA. Very bullish, you guys. That's it. That's what the macro is. It's bullish. Tune out the noise. Focus on the signal. And we hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Take care.